Grand Rapids Christian has developed 3 scenarios that are in line with the reopening plan for fall 2020. Can you talk to us a little bit about what those different scenarios are and what considerations were taken in when making them?
There are 3 scenarios. The first scenario, which is our #1 priority, is to welcome all kids back to live instruction on campus on August 19. The second scenario was a hybrid model that would be necessary to implement if we find ourselves in restrictions that limit the number of students on campus at any one time. The governor's plan, her roadmap to reopen schools, did not limit the number of students that are on a campus at one time. She did not reference specific requirements other than strong encouragements to make sure that all schools consider social distancing, cleaning and hygiene practices, protocols, procedures, but not limiting that. So I want to make sure it's clear that we are not assuming we're moving into a hybrid model. If we do, and if we are required to do so, it will be Grand Rapids Christian Schools' priority in that event to have preschool, kindergarten, first and second grade students on campus 5 days a week. Young children in particular learn within the environment, and because of the learning environment, and online learning for those students, while good, is not as effective. Each of our 5 campuses has a plan to welcome their students back for on-campus live instruction. That plan will be incorporating all of the safety health protocols that are required, and the plan will also create classrooms and environments that allow students to socially distance in a way that makes sense for the age level of those kids. So scenario A, all kids on campus back for live instruction with the necessary protocols. Scenario B, that hybrid model that prioritizes pre-K, K, 1 and 2 students back on campus, and then other students being very likely divided into half so that we can honor any sort of limit on the number of students in the building at any one time. Scenario C, off-campus learning, would only be instituted in the event that we receive some kind of an executive order from the governor that says schools once again are going to be put into a period of closure. Given our experience last spring, we were successfully able to launch an effective off-campus learning environment for all students preschool through grade 12. We learned a lot during that 3-month or 2-month window when schools were closed. And one of the things that we know is necessary is that what our parents are saying is desired, and what our staff is saying is desirable, is that there's a strengthened, regular schedule for students that's predictable and that blends with other grades at other buildings so that there's real clarity in all the expectations with a regimented schedule for student learning on a day-to-day basis. We've learned about new technologies that are available for staff and students to utilize so that live instruction can occur in a not live situation. Faculty and staff will now have tools and technologies that will allow for staff to do live instruction through cameras, through recordings, through live streaming that will replicate to the extent possible in an off-campus environment, virtual environment, ongoing daily instruction.
Governor Whitmer has outlined various phases that walk Michigan through reopening. How do the scenarios that Grand Rapids Christian has developed line up with those different phases?
Phases 1 through 3 result in schools being closed. And phase 4 allows for on-campus live instruction with restrictions. Phase 5, some of those requirements are relaxed a bit and they become strong recommendations. And phase 6 becomes strong recommendations becoming recommended practices and procedures. Our number one priority is to get kids in school and to do so in a way that both honors the health department and governor's executive orders and CDC recommendations while having kids back in school.
Clearly, a lot of work and thought has gone into the Grand Rapids Christian Schools reopening plan. How are parents going to be able to view or review details and specifics that are a part of that plan?
That's a great question, actually, and we recognize that that's on everybody's mind. These brief video links that hopefully our families, parents, students have been able to view is step number one, and that's to start communicating in a personal way at each of our campuses what that plan looks like and how we are being very careful and thorough in our planning and in our work with local and state and federal health officials. We are already beginning to prepare a document about our plan to reopen and to welcome within our scenarios that the board approved. That is in the works right now, and that hopefully in the next couple of weeks will be ready and be distributed to our families via email with a link. Ultimately, the board will be asked to approve, per the executive order, that particular document, and that particular document will include all the things that are required per the executive order. What I hope is really evident is that we have done a great amount of due diligence, work, investigation, and personal study on what makes sense. So the parents should watch for that.
What ways can parents reach out if they have questions or concerns about the different plans and procedures that are in place?
I would encourage any parent with any questions, with any requests for additional information or perhaps further explanations on certain things, to reach out to their building principals, to reach out to me, to reach out to any of the people that served on that task force to respond. We're more than happy to respond. And we want to demonstrate our strong desire and recognition that being on campus with kids in these desks and at those tables is the very best thing for kids. We know that. And we're going to take great care of them because that's what we do. We're Grand Rapids Christian Schools. That's what we've always done and what we will continue to do.